Quick review on the anatomy of the heart. So first, we have the blood coming from the lower extremities will enter the heart through the inferior vena cava. This is the inferior vena cava. And then the blood coming from the upper extremities will enter the heart through the superior vena cava. Then we have four chambers of the heart. Let's divide the heart in two. We have the left side of the heart and the right side of the heart. And then we have the four chambers. First chamber is the right atrium. Then we have right ventricle. Then we have left atrium. And we have the fourth chamber. We have the left ventricle. And always remember, by the way, we also have the valves. We have the tricuspid valve here. Hold on. We have tricuspid valve here. Then we have the bicuspid valve here. It divides the left atrium, between the left atrium and the left ventricle. We have bicuspid valve, and between right atrium and right ventricle, we have tricuspid valve. And then we also have pulmonary valve. We have, you might not see it, but it's just here, the valve going to the aorta for systemic circulation. We have aortic valve. So those are the important parts that we have to remember. So let's start. So always remember, by the way, always remember that the pathway of the blood entering into the right side, into the right side of the heart to the lungs for oxygenation, that is called pulmonary circulation. And the pathway of the oxygenated blood, once the blood is oxygenated from the lungs, it will travel to the pulmonary veins to the left side of the heart. It's called systemic circulation. Okay, so let's start. So once the blood is deoxygenated, it will repeat the process. So it will enter again to the heart. So it will enter from the lower extremities. It will enter the heart through the inferior vena cava. From the upper extremities, the blood will enter the heart through the superior vena cava. Once the blood is there, it will travel to the first chamber of the heart, which is the right atrium. Then to the valve, the tricuspid valve, it will enter to the next chamber of the heart, which is the right ventricle. And then it will travel to the pulmonary arteries through a valve called pulmonary valve. It will travel to the pulmonary arteries to the lungs for oxygenation. Since the blood is deoxygenated, it will travel to the lungs for oxygenation. Once the blood is already oxygenated, the blood coming from the lungs will enter to the pulmonary veins. Pulmonary veins to the left side of the heart. So from the pulmonary veins, it will travel to the left atrium. Then there is a valve here. The blood will enter to the left ventricle. The valve, the purpose of the valve is to prevent backflow of the blood to the previous chamber of the heart. Then after the blood traveled into the left ventricle, it will travel to the aorta through a valve called aortic valve. Then once the blood is already in the aorta, it will travel to the body for systemic circulation, and then it repeats the process. After the blood travels to the different parts of the body, it will be deoxygenated again and will need to be oxygenated again. It will enter the inferior vena cava, superior vena cava, and repeats the process. So that's it for systemic circulation.